All right, get ready, because today we are going deep, and I mean deep, into Ethereum.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of those technologies
Ah,
that I think once you kind of wrap your head around it and what it could potentially do, it's honestly kind of mind-blowing. So
absolutely.
we're going to do our best to kind of give you the lay of the land, explain what it is, what makes it different than its more famous cousin, Bitcoin, what's the buzz all about, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and what's really cool about Ethereum is that it's so much more than just a digital currency like Bitcoin.
Okay.
It really is like the foundation for building like a whole new internet
Wow.
that's based on this idea of decentralization.
So no more like big tech overlords controlling everything.
Exactly.
I like where this is going already. But I think before we, get too far ahead of ourselves, for those who maybe are hearing about Ethereum for the first time, how would you just give us like the quick, elevator pitch?
Okay, so imagine this. Bitcoin is like digital gold, right? You buy it, you hold it, maybe you spend it. Ethereum is like the digital land that you can build anything on. Oh. So on this land, developers can create and launch applications that aren't controlled by Facebook or Google or any single company.
Interesting.
Those are called dApps, short for decentralized applications.
Wow.
And they're all powered by these things called smart contracts.
Smart contracts. Now we're talking. That sounds like straight out of the future.
It kind of is.
It does. So break that down for us a little bit. What is a smart contract?
Okay, so think about like a rental agreement.
Okay.
It automatically executes itself.
Okay.
You put down a security deposit in Ethereum, and then when you've met the terms of the agreement, like you move out on time, the smart contract automatically releases the deposit back to you.
Oh, wow.
No more landlord drama, no more waiting weeks to get your money back.
So it's like this automated middleman, but without the middleman.
Exactly. Exactly. It cuts out that middleman.
I like it. And presumably, like fewer fees too, right? Because the middleman's got to get their cut.
Always, yeah, that's the beauty of it. It's automated, it's transparent, it's secure, and it can save everyone a lot of money.
So where else are we seeing smart contracts start to like really make an impact?
Well, supply chain management is a big one.
Okay.
So imagine tracking a product all the way from like the factory floor where it's made to your doorstep.
Okay.
With smart contracts, every step of that journey can be recorded and verified on the blockchain, so it makes the entire process much more transparent and secure.
Wow. So no more like wondering where your package is stuck in some warehouse somewhere.
Exactly.
You could actually track it.
Exactly.
That's really cool. Okay, so we've got smart contracts. Now what about these dApps?
Right.
Because we've all got our apps, right? Everyone's listening to this probably on their phone. They've got apps. They've got their favorites. But what's different about a dApp? Is it just that it lives on this Ethereum blockchain, or is there something more to it?
It's way more than just where they live. The cool thing about dApps is that they're resistant to censorship because they run on a decentralized network. No single entity can control them, not even the people who created them.
Interesting.
Let's take Uniswap, for example. It's a decentralized exchange built on Ethereum,
Okay.
and people can trade cryptocurrencies directly with each other.
Okay.
There are no banks, no middlemen, just pure peer-to-peer transactions.
So it's like, what is that, the Wild West, but like for finance?
Yeah, kind of. It's like the Wild West of finance.
So to be clear, Bitcoin, Ethereum, these are both cryptocurrencies, but they serve very different purposes.
Very different.
Yeah, it's not, it's like comparing apples and oranges at a certain point, or is that too much of a simplification?
No, that's a good way to put it. Bitcoin kind of paved the way. It showed everyone that a decentralized digital currency was possible.
Okay.
And then Ethereum came along and said, well, what if we could build an entire decentralized ecosystem on top of this?
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's like if Bitcoin was email, Ethereum is the entire internet.
Okay, so like building the internet on top of that original email protocol.
You got it.
Okay, that's a really helpful analogy.
And just like the internet, Ethereum is always evolving. It's always getting better. And that brings us to Ethereum 2.0, which is a major upgrade that's changing everything.
Okay, so Ethereum 2.0, this is a big deal. This is a big upgrade.
Yeah, this is kind of taking it to the next level.
But one of the big things that's part of this is this switch to something called proof of stake.
Right.
And I feel like we need to unpack that a little bit because I think for people who aren't deep in the crypto space, that sounds a little intimidating.
It does sound a little intimidating, but it doesn't have to be.
So proof of stake, break it down for us.
Okay, so remember earlier how we were talking about Bitcoin being like digital gold?
Yeah.
Well, imagine instead of using tons of energy to mine for gold, You could just use the gold you already have to help secure the network and verify transactions.
Okay.
That's proof of stake. You're basically using your existing Ethereum as collateral to support the network.
Interesting. And you get rewarded for that.
Exactly. You earn rewards for helping to secure the network. Yeah.
Okay, so it's almost like I'm becoming this like mini miner, like I'm participating in the process just by holding the Ethereum.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, so why is this such a big deal for Ethereum? Why is this upgrade to proof of stake so significant?
Well, for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
One, it's way more energy efficient than the old way of doing things.
Okay, the proof of work
It's a
model.
proof of work model, exactly, which Bitcoin uses.
Got it.
So that means that Ethereum is becoming a much more sustainable platform, which is huge, right?
Yeah, that's huge.
And two, it actually makes the network more secure.
How so?
Well, because the more people who are staking their Ethereum, the harder it is for any one person or entity to take control of the network.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's this really nice kind of like self-reinforcing cycle.
So it's faster, it's cheaper, and it's better for the planet.
Yeah,
Sign me up.
right. Sounds like a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go back to these smart contracts for a second. Because you were giving some examples like rental agreements, supply chains, stuff that we can kind of wrap our heads around.
Right.
What are some of the applications of smart contracts that get you really excited? Like, what are some of the things out there where you're like, man, if this actually takes off, this could really change things?
Oh, man, there are so many.
Give us one.
Okay, let's see. One that I find really, really fascinating is digital identity.
Okay.
So right now we're kind of at the whim of all these different companies and websites where we have to hand over our information.
Yeah, we're constantly giving up our data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But with Ethereum, you could potentially have a secure, self-sovereign digital identity that's stored on the blockchain and you control it.
Oh, wow.
So no more data breaches, no more companies selling your information without your consent. You have complete control.
So it's like taking ownership over all that data that's kind of floating out there
Exactly.
that we've just been giving away for so long.
It's like giving you the power back. Yeah.
I like it. Okay, so that's digital identity. Anything else that you're like, man, this is really cool?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the use cases are pretty much limitless, but one of the things that I'm most excited about is this whole world of decentralized finance.
Decentralized
Finance,
finance. DeFi for short.
DeFi, I've heard that term thrown around. What is that?
So basically, imagine a global financial system that's open to anyone with an internet connection without the need for banks or any kind of traditional financial institutions.
Oh, wow.
That's the promise of DeFi. It's still early days.
Yeah.
But it has the potential to completely revolutionize how we think about money and finance.
So it's like taking the power back from Wall Street and giving it to the people.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, so we've thrown a lot at people.
We have.
This has been a lot of information.
It has.
But for someone who's listening to all this and they're like, all right, this sounds really cool. I'm kind of getting it, but where do I even begin? Like, how do I get started? Yeah, it can seem kind of daunting, right? But it's actually a lot easier than you might think.
Okay.
The first thing you'll need is something called an Ethereum wallet.
Okay, so let's talk wallets. What is an Ethereum wallet?
So an Ethereum wallet is like your digital bank account,
Okay.
but it's specifically designed to hold and manage your Ethereum.
Okay.
And there are a lot of different options out there, but one that's really popular, especially for beginners, is called MetaMask.
MetaMask. Got it. That's a browser extension, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. So once I have that set up, what's the next step? I'm ready to, I want to get my hands on some of this Ethereum. How do I actually get it?
Well, just like buying Bitcoin, you can buy Ethereum on a variety of cryptocurrency exchanges.
Okay, so like Coinbase, things like that.
Coinbase, Binance, exactly.
Got it.
And basically, they act as these marketplaces where you can exchange your traditional currency, like US dollars, for Ethereum.
Okay, and one nice thing, at least as of right now, Ethereum is quite a bit cheaper than Bitcoin. So you don't have to, shell out quite as much to get started.
Exactly. It's a little bit more accessible, which is nice.
Yeah, okay, so I've got my wallet, I've gone to Coinbase, I've exchanged, I've swapped some of my dollars for Ethereum. Now what do I do?
Now the fun begins, right? You can explore the world of dApps.
Okay.
You can experiment with staking your Ethereum to earn rewards, which we talked about earlier.
Right, right.
You can even dip your toes into the exciting but often confusing world of NFTs.
Oh, boy.
There's a lot to discover.
NFTs, that's a whole other
That's a whole
deep dive.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll do that one down the road. That's a whole other conversation.
Oh.
But I think the main takeaway here is that There are a lot of different ways to kind of get involved with Ethereum once you've sort of taken those first steps.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you've painted this very exciting picture
I have.
of this decentralized future
Yes.
where we're all in control of our data, we're participating in these exciting new technologies and applications. But let's address the elephant in the room for a second here.
Okay.
The risks,
Right.
because there are always risks. What are some of the things that people need to be wary of? What are some of the, potential downsides or pitfalls of getting involved in the world of Ethereum?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really important point to bring up because as with any investment, there's always risk involved.
Right.
The price of Ethereum can go up, it can go down, and so you never want to invest more than you can afford to lose.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement, the hype, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to be practical too.
Exactly. And remember, Ethereum is still a relatively new technology.
Right.
So it's important to be aware of things like scams and security vulnerabilities.
It's like the Wild West out there still. A little bit, right?
Kind of, yeah. You've got to be careful who you trust. Always double check those URLs.
Okay.
Be wary of phishing attempts.
Yeah. That's good advice anywhere online, but especially in this space.
Especially in this space. And whatever you do, never, ever share your private keys with anyone.
That's like giving away the keys to the kingdom.
Exactly.
Okay, so for someone who's new to this and maybe a little bit intimidated, which is understandable, what's your advice for navigating this world safely?
Honestly, the best advice I can give is just educate yourself.
Okay.
There are so many great resources out there, articles, videos, forums, all about Ethereum, all about blockchain.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to just kind of dive in and experiment.
Yeah.
But just start with small amounts, Don't put in anything that you're not willing to lose.
Right.
But yeah, just, do your research, be cautious, and have fun with it.
Yeah. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be exciting.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's shift gears here a little bit because we've talked about where things are now. But what are you most excited about when it comes to the future of Ethereum? Like when you look 5, 10 years down the road, where could this go?
Oh, man, the possibilities are pretty much endless. But for me personally, I think what excites me most is the potential here to really level the playing field. Imagine a world where people have more control over their data, over their finances, over their digital lives.
Yeah.
That's the kind of future that Ethereum is building towards, and that's pretty exciting.
It's like we're on the cusp of a digital renaissance almost, right?
Yeah, I like that, a digital renaissance.
Where it's like, okay, the Wild West is kind of, becoming a little more settled. And now it's like, all right, what are we going to build here?
What are we going to build? Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So for someone who's listening who's like, all right, I'm convinced I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Where do they go from here?
Well, like I said before, start by learning, start by reading.
Okay.
Get a basic understanding of how Ethereum works, how blockchain technology works.
Yeah.
And then, take that next step.
Yep. Dip your toes in.
Dip your toes in, exactly. Set up a wallet. Think about maybe even just buying a tiny bit of Ethereum just to kind of get a feel for it. Try out a dApp.
Right. You got to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, hey, this has been a great conversation. I feel like we've learned a ton about Ethereum.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface, but hopefully this at least gives our listeners a good starting point to kind of dive in and explore further.
Absolutely. And I think the big takeaway here is that Ethereum is more than just another cryptocurrency.
Right.
It's a completely new way of thinking about how we build and interact with technology.
And with each other.
And with each other, exactly. It's about putting the power back in the hands of the people.
I like it. All right. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of Ethereum.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.